I was so excited to find this Mahjong set on Amazon. I have loved the colors from the pictures and I wanted to unbox it with you. The very first thing I noticed is how everything is packed so neatly inside this compact little carrying case. I was honestly so surprised by how much fit in there. Okay, but this is the fun part. The most eye-catching thing to me for this whole set is definitely the mat. As much as I've played Mahjong and how many different sets and pieces that I've had, I have never owned a Mahjong mat quite like this before. So instead of the typical neoprene feel, this has a more suede-like texture that just immediately feels more luxurious. It reminds me of like an old library or a room with a beautiful dark wood paneling, just super classic, distinguished, sophisticated, and honestly, it looks and feels really expensive. So if you're someone who doesn't love all the bright colors that so many Mahjong accessories tend to have, I think you're really going to appreciate this aesthetic. It just has a very timeless look. It obviously still right now has some wrinkles, but if you let it sit for a couple days, those wrinkles will fall right out. Okay, and next let's look at the tiles. These continue that same classic style. They're the traditional American Mahjong size, so they feel familiar in your hands, and I really, really like the artwork. The designs have a vintage feel without looking outdated. And then you flip them over and the backs are this beautiful, cool blue. It's just enough color, I think, to make the table interesting without overwhelming everything, and it just coordinates so well. And then here are the dice and the chips, and this set actually includes Mahjong cards. I have bought quite a few Mahjong sets over the years, and this is honestly the first one that I've ever owned that these are already included. And pulling these out just makes me think this is such a perfect set to keep in the car or at a beach house, or just a secondary set to always be ready on the go because it does include everything. Okay, now let's talk about these racks. They are simple, they have attached pushers, they're easy to use, and once again, I love that they just totally coordinate with the rest of the set. Everything feels cohesive instead of looking like different pieces that were pulled together from different collections. And the clear blue is just such a great pairing in general with this set. The tiles also have their own little carrying pouch, and I really appreciate that it's lined with a soft fabric inside. It's a nice detail because it just helps protect the tiles when they're stored or when you're traveling. And when you're finished playing, everything packs so nicely back into this one compact carrying case. And honestly, I think this is the smallest bag I've ever seen that holds an entire game of Mahjong. One little tip though, if you do want to minimize wrinkles in the mat, you could always roll it separately instead of folding it into the bag. But I also love having the option to fit absolutely everything into one organized little case. And that's the huge perk of this set for me, other than the style, of course. So if your style also leans more classic and understated instead of bright and colorful, I truly think this set has it all.